Hey guys, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Aaron.
And welcome to our very first YouTube video.
So one of the main reasons we're starting this channel is so that we can basically lend out a helping hand. Show those people that are similar to us that it's not hard or difficult to see the world, especially if you have to travel on a budget.
Yeah, true. So it's definitely possible. I know sometimes you think about a certain country you want to visit, like Egypt, and it's like, oh my gosh, can we really get there? But you can, and it doesn't have to be expensive. So if you want tips and tricks on Egypt, keep watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this video.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Where? Oh yeah.
I thought that was terrifying.
All right, on our way to Egypt. Everyone's in here. Just got to Cairo airport getting our visa, so $25 there. That's what it looks like. We've made it to Cairo. Go work out. So the work week here is Monday through Friday?
Yes.
Same? Okay.
We work here on this from Sunday.
Oh.
From Sunday. Because it's Muslim. It's Muslim country.
Yes.
So that Friday, it's like your Sunday.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that's why no crowded, no traffic on Friday.
Egyptian Museum. Hey, what are y'all climbing? The Great Pyramid of Giza. Casual. Oh, sorry. Woo! Damn. Oh, what the hell? Woo! We are in the desert. The Bent Pyramid. Secure these binoculars. Alright, so for this next section, we wanted to go over some tips and tricks based off of our 5 days in Egypt. Again, I'm sure everyone experiences something different, but this was kind of our view here. So we'll be going over 5 things. First of all, the fact that we would have rather spend more time in Cairo instead of going to Alexandria, haggling, taxis, the kids, and cash. So starting with Cairo versus Alexandria. This was definitely poor planning on our end because we decided the day before, right?
Yeah.
The day before we left, it was like the day before the last day there. We're like, what do we want to do tomorrow? And we decided to go see the Bent Pyramid and then go to Alexandria. Alexandria's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away. And so we're like, screw it, we'll do it. So the reason I said poor planning was because we got to Alexandria like at around 3 or 4 p.m. and everything closes at 5. So when we went to the Citadel, when we went to the library, when we went to visit mosques, we were in a rush because they were closing at 5. Now in Cairo, we didn't get to spend time downtown, so we didn't get to see like the beautiful mosques down there.
Maybe the bazaar.
We missed out on that for sure. So we definitely would have spent more time in Cairo instead of going to Alexandria.
So another thing we'd like to talk about is haggling with the locals or the people who are selling things, taxi drivers, just in general haggling. When you should do it, when you shouldn't. And so most of the time, I guess when you're buying something commercial, something that's just made by the mass and just readily available everywhere, such as this shmak. And it's the Egyptian scarf that you see everywhere. A lot of military people use this, and it's sold pretty much everywhere you go in Egypt. And if you're not careful, just like my friend Jeff, you can pay upwards of $50 for something that's sold everywhere. And myself, I actually got this one and another one for another friend of mine, and I paid $40 for 2 of them. So again, haggle, talk to those people, talk to the local, try not to get the tourist price. Now, when you shouldn't haggle, in my opinion, is when you're trying to get something that's a little more handmade. They took a little bit of time to make it, personally, as opposed to just something that's mass produced. If you were in the US and you were paying for something that was handmade, you paid a little extra. So respect the culture, right? Do the same there.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And then kind of speaking of haggling, this kind of brings us into our next topic, which is taxis. So we used Uber, which if you didn't know, Uber actually exists in Egypt, which we were so happy when we found out about it. So we used Uber to get around from like the airport to the hotel to downtown, restaurants and whatnot. But we also looked into the transportation section like of our hotel. They had a little like desk where it was like, here are the vans, whatever it is. So we went up to them, and the man who ran that department told us that his son was actually working towards becoming a taxi driver. So he put us together with him, and his son was our taxi driver for like 2 days. He's the one who took us to Alexandria, so that was nice. And then something that Aaron did when we were going, when we weren't using either Uber or the hotel service, and we were just kind of hailing a cab off the side of the road, Aaron had the address on his phone like already translated into Arabic. So we would just show them, this is where we're going. They would kind of give us a thumbs up, and we would be on our way. But something I do want to mention is making sure that the car you're getting into is an actual taxi. And you said the color was white?
Yes.
So make sure the car is white, and make sure it has a meter, and make sure they start that meter. So when we were leaving, it was our very first day in Egypt. We were leaving the museum to go back to our hotel. We hailed a cab side of the road. A man pulled up, and I got in the car, and Aaron kind of peeked in and noticed he didn't have a meter. So he told me like, hey, there's no meter, and so I got off. And that obviously upset the driver because he lost business, but we wanted to be careful. And this kind of brings me into how some drivers can be a little persistent and a little aggressive. I don't think they mean that in a bad way, but it definitely threw us off because I think he gave like 2 different loops and was kind of following us like, hey, I can take you here. And so that was just kind of, I don't know, a little different for us. We were a little taken back from it by it, and that's when we just decided to go with Uber. But definitely be careful with the taxis.
Yeah, and something you can do is try to set your price before you take off, so that way you don't get to the spot and they just throw some random number at you, and you have to end up paying it because obviously they already took you where you wanted to go.
Yeah, that's true. So they're pretty good about agreeing on a price like before you actually take off. So that's taxis. Then we also wanted to briefly mention kids that we kind of saw out in the streets, I guess you could say.
So again, they're not all over the place. It's not like there's just children living in the streets, but there are a few children out there that will try to take advantage of you, maybe haggle you, or just try to, get a couple dollars out of you so they can help their family, and in our opinion, maybe you don't want to influence that reliance on, I guess, the tourism, but just our opinion. So here's a little video, an example of what we're talking about.
Here, look, let me see yours.
Look.
Like this. Take it out.
Are you gonna give her some money?
Oh, what?
American dollar. Oh, she gave it back. There you go. This little haggler.
Doesn't know what it is.
Oh, she wants to give you a hug. Bye. No.
Okay, so as you saw, this little girl, we were just walking to find our Uber, I think, like on the side of the Nile River, and she just went up to Christian's backpack and like snagged the hand sanitizer. It's just hand sanitizer, not a big deal, but that could have been something else, so just be careful with that. She didn't give it back until after Jeff offered her $1, and really we were just trying to get like the little attachment because we were like, whatever, keep the hand sanitizer. And so yeah, she just kind of wanted that money, you know. And she was very nice. She wasn't like a mean little girl. She was nice, wanted the hug, as you saw afterwards. But we were just kind of, you know, wanting to be careful, because I remember, like, once we walked out and once we had given her the dollar, but went our separate ways, we looked back and she was like trying to eat the hand sanitizer. She was putting it in her hand and she was like licking her hand, and obviously that's probably not safe. So again, just be careful with the kids that you see around there. Last but not least is cash. So making sure you have enough Egyptian pounds on you. So this was another one of our poor planning. We took, I want to say like $400 to $500 worth of Egyptian pounds with us, combined. And so we used dollar or whatever, and we had some dollars, like regular US cash on us too. And so on the day that we went to the Vent Pyramid, we paid the guards. Is that what it was? Mm-hmm. We paid guards to like let us into the pyramid, or let Aaron, because Jeffrey and I didn't want to go in there. So we paid them to let Aaron and Christian go down there in US dollars. But while they were in there, he kept telling me and Jeff, change. And we were kind of looking at him like, what do you mean, right? So eventually we found out he wanted us to exchange the dollars for the pounds. And he said it was because, he said the bank was too far. So that makes sense. You know, it's an inconvenience for them to have to go all the way to the bank. And we don't know, you know, if they have like transportation to get there, because Deshur was like a small town. So if you're visiting those small towns, if you're tipping any little thing that has to do with cash, make sure you have enough Egyptian pounds on you.
Well, guys, that's the end of it.
Yeah, end of our very first YouTube video. So we hope you guys enjoyed it.
Definitely.
And let us know what you think. I don't know, good, bad, what do you think? You know, if this goes well, we do have another one planned on Machu Picchu, which was
super hectic,
a crazy trip.
Extremely fun and totally worth it.
So stay tuned, and we will be back with more videos. Hasta luego. Hey, so we wanted to add this shout out to the wonderful people of Egypt.
You were amazing. Thank you for hosting us in your beautiful country.
Yeah.
I would love to return soon.
Yeah, it was amazing. The people were so nice. Like, please, thank you. You're welcome. Like, so accommodating, very sweet. And we just couldn't end this video without giving a shout out to them. So, yeah.
Taught this southerner a thing or two about some hospitality.
Yeah.